Today is March 17th, 2011. This is what happened to me in the Constitution Free Zone. I was on my way to the store and I was pulled over by an SUV, a white SUV. It was clearly marked Homeland Security, Border Patrol. I live 4 miles from the Canadian border. I was asked to turn my engine off, my ignition. I was asked to provide my license, my registration, my insurance card. They obviously copied all of this material. I was then asked where I worked. I was asked in what capacity I worked for this company, where I had traveled in the last 6 months. And at this point, I just stopped talking. I didn't understand what was happening. They asked me if they could search my vehicle. I said no. I have rights, and you need to have some type of warrant or probable cause to do that. I pulled out of my driveway. I'm on my way to the store. They said that actually they did have the right to search my vehicle, whether I wanted them to or not. In the end, they didn't search my vehicle, but they took all my identification. They detained me for at least 15 minutes and were very polite and told me that they have a nice day and I could leave. And I was pretty shook up about this, so I did, and I just went right back home. I needed to understand what had happened to me because they weren't telling me anything. So I did some research, and this is what I came up with. People need to know this because I didn't know this. It's very important that you know this. So I started doing some research, and I was doing some Google searches, and I found on the ACLU site, are you living in a Constitution-free zone? And it's dated 2006, but this kind of, after what I had gone through, this shocked the crap out of me. And they're talking about some crazy shit here. I went and looked at the map, and all of this area up here, by law and the Patriot Act, is basically a Constitution-free zone. I didn't know this. This is crazy. This is crazy shit. New York State, I live in New York State, 97.4% of people living in New York State are living in this area. And I'm thinking that, this is, maybe down here in Texas or Mexico, but no, it's the entire country. And look at, Maine. I mean, the whole state, 100%. So anyone living in Maine, Babalu, do you realize this? I know that this came into effect in 2006, and I haven't experienced it yet until today. I started finding these other things, and here's some more articles, and they're dated. This one's January 9th, 2011, where they're detaining students, foreign students, whatever. But this is in Rochester, New York, which is almost in the middle of New York State. I see this other stuff here where from its government site, I guess, the military site, United States Northern Command, and they signed this agreement, to allow Canadian forces onto our land in case of disaster, civil emergency, perhaps even civil unrest. So we have this agreement that I wasn't aware of either. It's dated 2008, but I didn't hear about it. And I'll leave links to all of this stuff, but this is some crazy shit. Yeah. Crazy stuff here. Another one from Canada.com. Canada, U.S. agree to each other's troops in civil emergencies. When did this happen? I don't know. But if you read on, I'm going to leave a link. You got to read it. You got to see this. And at the very bottom of this, here's a paragraph here. Scanlon said the actual agreement hasn't been released to the public, as that requires approval from both nations. That decision has not yet been taken. Well, whatever. Let's not tell the people that Canadian troops can come onto our soil in an emergency. And what's that emergency? Martial law? What's going on here? And out of nowhere, I get this email. I literally get hundreds of emails a day from YouTube and a subscriber. And it sounded kind of urgent, and I didn't understand what it was, and he left a link. And this is what it was. And I'm like, what is this? This came yesterday, on the 16th. And I didn't know what to make of this thing. I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is. What is this? Steve Quayle. But read it. I'll leave the link to this as well. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that we're being taken over somehow. And I'm going to do a lot more research. You know, try to put up some videos, but take this seriously or not, whatever. This is some serious shit. Thanks.